Anime out of context is one of my favorite things you can do on the internet, and in any given episode of this wonderful Maid show, you can show characters with guns in their mouth, a panda in the background, somehow we get John Wick, just action movie galore, explosions and death, or we can casually go gamble and have human trafficking as in the case of last week, or in this week, hot maid boxing. And the untapped potential that I think this show is showing, because I think in any given episode, this show is like witnessing just, you could probably have 12 episodes minimum of just that as an idea, but the episodic nature of this mob warfare that's surrounded by maid cafes as like their core environment, the brutality, the insanity, and how you have, as I mentioned last week, the worst boss imaginable. Best for the anime watcher, because we get to see these types of scenes, because this woman, has gotten into debt. She basically is in with bad, very bad people, that is, and because of that, characters like Ranko, and as I thought, Ranko would be the main one to solve pretty much every issue, even if she also kind of escalates the issues in her own way, as seen by her not throwing the matches. But still, the fact that, this episode as an example, if anyone's saying they wouldn't watch an entire season of hot maid anime boxing, you're kidding yourself. Everyone wants to see that, and this episode highlights it. I want to see 12 episodes of maids go gambling Kakaguri style. Everything about this show is just so batshit. It's so insane, and I absolutely adore it. This show is hands down the craziest show I watched this year in terms of anime, and we're only 3 episodes in. It's insane, it knows it's insane, and it takes the piss on so many classic maid tropes, but then also has all these really interesting kind of episodic ideas that just elevate it into a really interesting series, because really it's a slice of life about a mundane girl who I feel like has developed Stockholm Syndrome, if I'm being honest, because she's very much enjoying this now, and she was very petrified from episode 1. But I love the concept of, there isn't this overarching story in the way of, okay, here's the end boss, or here's the end goal, and we're building up to it. I mean, sure, there might be, some sort of final battle in the form of the man who clearly has loaned them money and has used people as human golf tees, or, they get upset because you give them too much water. This man could be, the final boss, quote-unquote, in terms of them rising up and taking him out, or, overcoming their burden of probably just being under this man's thumb. But as it stands, it's just hey, people go to work, people have their job. The thing that makes a show like this fun is that their job is working at a maid cafe that by day is seemingly normal, but by night is involved in all sorts of illegal shenanigans that is bloody, brutal, and hilarious. And I absolutely love that it is just a slice of life, but a very violent slice of life at that. Characters casually having to sell the pancreas because they can't pay back their debt, to then having this stupid anime figure, and the whole concept of how, it's a very rare figure because it's a background character and not a lot were made. It feels like a parody, but then there's elements of it that feel like it's dead serious, and I can never figure out which one it's, leaning into the most, but I love the fact that it is just so batshit. The actual boxing match was insanely well animated. I mean, you have this very, dramatic art style. You saw it last week, I actually used it for the manager's face in my thumbnail. The way they stylize it in a very just interesting line style, and then how they'll just use that as a classic shonen boxing or shonen sport design to then amplify the final shot just is so good. But the individual the kicks, the movements, there was times where characters were wrapping their legs around necks and doing almost backflips and somersaults, and just everything about it just felt incredibly well choreographed. And when you look at the 3 episodes, there's an overall style. Episode 1, definitely, it's maid, but then it goes into explosive action bloodshed. Episode 2, more of that dramatic Kakaguri gambling style. Here, classic boxing style, but everything connects with that whole maid trope that is breaking and shattering, right? But the fact that, it's kind of interesting, right? Because it feels, in a lot of ways, 3 different styles of anime, but connected by the whole maids, but clearly not maids formula. And I really like that they're having fun, but keeping, when you look at it from a sports perspective, it's a really well animated sports episode, and it's bloody. You felt the impact of the punches, and they had fun being goofy at times as well, as you just have hot girls fighting. That's really the core idea of what this episode was. But then the whole concept of like, needing to throw the match and then seeing the manager get worse and worse off to having literally the panda have to carry her off. Last week casually unleashing the gas so the building can explode, to this week having her, just casually just move the goddamn manager away because we just can't have this anymore. Yes, a lot of people are saying, like, what if the character that's blurred in the opening is actually the panda, but, a girl in a panda suit? Probably is the case, but given the fact that in 3 episodes I've seen more WTF moments than probably I have in most 12-episode anime runs, if this just is a genetically altered panda, I'd be perfectly acceptable, because why the hell not, given what we've seen? But I like the fact that they're clearly having a lot of fun, and just the whole concept of slice of life. I mean, I love slice of life, whether just casual school slice of life to workplace slice of life, just this time it's brutal and bloody, and I think that's exactly what we need sometimes in an anime season. Something that feels familiar at face glance, but then just amplified to such a degree that you just every week could share screenshots out of context and people would say, what in the actual hell are you watching? And at least 1 out of 3 people would say, well, now I gotta watch this because I don't know what the hell you just shared. I think BA Works is definitely, they found a way to branch out of their comfort zone while still technically being in their comfort zone, right? Because PA Works has been known for workplace series, and this is hands down a workplace series. It's a maid cafe episodic adventure, which is very much in line with what they're known for, but the way they amplified it to such a degree, you can tell PA Works is just having fun with where they're at now as a studio, and if this is just like the start of the type of insanity we can see, like, I'm very excited, and honestly, like, I don't know how many episodes of this I want. I know we're getting 12, obviously, for this season, but you never know. If show blows up as much as this could, they might say, oh, we're going to do more than initially planned. But in a lot of ways, 12 feels perfect, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Where the hell would a season 2 go? But I'm just happy we get it right now anyway. It's a packed season. It's a fantastic season. But 3 episodes in a row, I'm saying it. Still one of this season's best, and I'd argue top 5 of this anime season, which is, of course, saying a hell of a lot. I really have no idea what I want to see these maids do next, because really, we've had action movie, we've had gambling movie, and we've had sports movie turned violent maid edition. So what do I want to see next? Well, I want to see a racing episode for sure, like whether that's go-karts turned violent, whether that's NASCAR turned violent, I don't know, but that'd be pretty insane to see how they would get roped into needing to pay off a debt and then clearly shit just goes wrong or violently right. But just the way they can take the things that maybe I'm not necessarily interested in at face value, but then just turn it into something so much more compelling, because the visual juxtaposition of why is a maid doing this, but then how perfectly animated and directed it is for that style of WTF moment, right? There's just a lot, but I'd be interested to hear, what are people thinking of this, episode 3 in particular, and of course what I just mentioned. Is there a situation you want to see these maids get into? I would love to know what people are thinking and what people want to see these maids get into, because it's kind of insane. We get a new maid join the cast and it's just getting started. Thoughts, feelings, ideas down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.